Hello, JRPG gamers, and good evening to you, as we're a little bit later than we like to record in the day. It's been a bit crazy, but welcome to the podcast. This is the JRPG Report, episode 128. My name is James Fisher, your host of this little shindig we do each week. We cover all the big news and happenings in the JRPG world, and then each weekend on Sunday we do a special kind of just a little something different each and every week, whatever I'm feeling like throwing out there. This weekend it'll be a soundtrack, but it does change up from time to time. So we've got a really fun show for you guys today, and at the end, I'm going to debut a brand new segment we'd like to make kind of a recurring thing, but it's going to be on you guys, as we're going to try to do some listener reviews. So if we'll go ahead and put the call out there right now. If you've played, let's try to kind of keep it to recent games, at least initially. Kind of that way, since I really don't do that, I do try to play the games as they come out, but I don't like to necessarily give a review all the time unless it's something really, really major. So if there's something that you play that's come out fairly recently that I've covered on the show in particular, give me a review for it. Either you can send it to us through the Facebook group, directly to my Facebook account. You can also email. That's fine as well. jrpgreport@gmail.com. So today, at the very end, our buddy Jake has given us I wouldn't say lengthy, but it is a thorough review of Fairy Tail. So that's you'll have that to look forward to. But I'll leave it at the very end just in case you're kind of in the middle of it. I don't think there's spoilers. I'll have to kind of reread it just to make sure. But I think it's just a very in-depth review of it and kind of let you know what you should be looking for. But anyway, today has been a bit crazy, but I just want to get into it. No excuses, right? And let's start off. I didn't really know where to head to first, as there's a couple of pretty decent stories, but I guess I'll start here because it was kind of something we've been waiting on. Genshin Impact does have a release date, at least for its PC, iOS, and Android parts of the game. You can pre-register for that right now for download, and it's coming on September the 28th, so just a little bit over a month from now. They had previously announced that the PlayStation 4 version was coming out sometime this fall, so it does leave about a little under 2 months after that release for the PS4 version to come out. It is also coming to the Switch, but there is no release window for that as of yet. As I mentioned, pre-registration is available right now through the game's official website, the App Store, and Google Play. Players who will receive the following in-game rewards based on the number of pre-registrations. As you know, that's usually the way it goes. There are levels for 600,000, a million, million and a half, 2 million, and up to 3 million people. And those are some pretty decent things if you should choose to do that. You don't have anything to lose. It is free to play. It's a lot of fun, and you can get some decent rewards just by pre-registering. There's also additional rewards based on social media follows. This is usually the case that if they get 150,000 subscribers on YouTube, everybody gets something, and 100,000 likes on Facebook. So if you've been waiting for this one on your mobile device or PC, don't wait too much longer. September 28th for that. And as soon as I get that PS4 release date, I will pass it along to you guys as well. If you need a device to play it on, they're even doing kind of a special, I think it's a iPhone 11 giveaway. And I've shared the link to that over on the Twitter page. You can follow us at JRPG Report and find that link if you need something to play the game on. There you go. The other big story, and I probably would have led with this, there's really nothing to say. Okay, so it's big news in the fact that we do have the title for a new PlayStation 5 game in the Neptunia series. So get ready for this. It is Go 5 Jigen Game Neptune Reverse. That's right, all that is going to be a new latest entry in the Neptunia series coming exclusively to PlayStation 5. Pretty much that is all they announced. There was a video that went along with it and a man speaking in Japanese, so I do not know what was said, and just at the very end up popped the logo. So that's literally all we have on it. I think they put this out there because this is the 10th anniversary of the Neptunia series, so they kind of coincided those two events, and they're saying, okay, here's the future of that. While only the logo was revealed today, more information is scheduled to be announced in September. If you'd like to check out that video, especially if you know Japanese, that'll probably be helpful. You can do that over at our YouTube channel, JRPG Report. I did see on Steam last night that because of this 10th anniversary celebration, there's a bunch of the Neptunia titles on sale. Some of them at a pretty good clip. So if you've been wanting to get into that series, now seems like a pretty good chance to do that on the cheap. I'm not sure if it's also on the PSN store or the eShop. You'll have to dig into that one yourself. I can't do all the work for you guys. You got to do just a little bit yourself. Speaking of announcements about announcements, let's see. I don't know if we'll get to this next week. No, of course not. So Falcom has revealed that that new information on the next Legend of Heroes game. So that's going to be the game after Hajimari no Kiseki. It's not a sequel to it. We do know that much. So we're going to get some information about that in the Weekly Famitsu August 27th due issue. So that's next Thursday. So that'll probably, by the time it gets to us, I dare say we're not going to know unless something kind of leaks out beforehand. I'll try. If I hear something, we'll bring it to you. If not, it may have to wait a week. So according to Falcom President Toshihiro Kondo, Falcom's next title will be developed on its new game engine. We talked a little bit about that last week, and will feature, quote, considerably improved graphics. Well, you would certainly hope so, right? This is we know that one scene in Hajimari no Kiseki is going to feature that new engine, and I would have to guess this is going to be on PlayStation 5 too. So, but coupled between that new engine and a new system, we could have a pretty good leap. Kind of what I'm expecting is take that leap from Cold Steel 2 to Cold Steel 3, and now let's see what that next evolution is. I'm excited to know what that is going to be, and no doubt it will be, maybe not initially, but I'm pretty sure we're quickly going to get into the no spoiler zone here fairly soon. We don't know what the extent of the information is going to be. It could be a full-blown reveal or simply a screenshot. That's typically how they've done this in the past, is just that first little tidbits, just kind of a screenshot, just to kind of get your mind a-racing and think about all the possibilities. There was also, in this article, there was some tidbits about Hajimari, but we're not going to really talk about anything that was mentioned on there. So yeah, hopefully next week we can talk about whatever this is going to be talking about, but don't know as of yet. You just have to tune back in and see. If you're interested, and or if you've completed Trails of Cold Steel 4, you may want to go over to our YouTube channel and check out 14 minutes of gameplay from the Legend of Heroes Hajimari no Kiseki. We got a glimpse into the game completely in full today. Now let's go ahead and say that this is by Ruliweb, and they have published this gameplay video of the Korean version. So you're not going to be spoiled with any type of text, but obviously the pictures speak louder than words, and I have not previewed this. I'm probably not going to. I'll just be honest. I'll just pass along the information to you guys as we're getting closer and closer to Cold Steel 4. So I kind of feel like this would be the perfect type of thing to check out once I am done with that. And don't want to get ruined. But there are plenty of people who have played that and want to check it out, so I put it out there for the masses. But yeah, you are more than welcome to check that out. It's not too much longer, as Hajimari will be out for PlayStation 4 on August the 27th in Japan, and eventually it'll make its way over here. It still kind of irks me that they get the new game 2 months before we get the fourth game that came out before it. But I'm kind of over that. Sort of. Not really. Okay. Speaking on happier news, as we do each week, we will update the Kickstarter for... oh my goodness. I need to... Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. What would that be? What is that topic? Oh, yes. That is... I actually figured out finally how to say... Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes. Let me try that again. Eiyuden. So that is the official pronunciation of it. I don't think I quite got that one before, but yeah. So we have been updating the Kickstarter progress each week on Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes. They passed the 3 million mark in funding, clearing 24 stretch goals, and becoming the 9th most funded video game Kickstarter campaign of all time. The most funded from Japanese backers, developers, Rabbit and Bear Studios announced. Eiyuden Chronicles is now the single most backed project by Japanese people ever. Creative director Yoshitaka Moriyama said in a press release, "For this project, I want to take the fans' passion and put it in the game. That's how I feel. I've seen people on social media saying this is the first Kickstarter they've ever backed. It makes me so happy to see that passion and support. Anyone in the entertainment business probably feels the same way. They want to make as many people happy as possible. Usually, it's a feeling you get on release day when you sell your game. But with Eiyuden Chronicle, we are able to feel that even at this current phase. And you get to feel it directly from the fans' voices, which, again, is a great feeling. Thanks for all the enthusiasm and support. It really does keep me going. So please join us in this 2-year journey of developing the game." Pretty cool statement there. Rabbit and Bear Studios also announced that a 9th additional character of the game has been reached through those stretch goals, bringing the total to 109 total. I thought there was going to be an even 100, then assumed it was going to be 108. No, the total characters is now 109. He noted the 108th character was born through stretch goals. I'm sure people are fond of this number, as am I. But that number was for Suikoden. While we have respect for the number 108, we chose to leave it here and go further. For this commemorable 109th character, we'd like to create a new character for everyone through a voting system. We genuinely hope everyone continue this journey with us together. So that 109th character will be determined by fan selection via a poll on the Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes Discord channel that will run for 24 hours starting August the 21st at 9 a.m. Pacific time and 24 hours from that time. Concept artwork for the potential character will be published through social media channels this week. Also, perhaps at the end of this week, we are hoping to get a new teaser trailer for the game. So definitely subscribe to their YouTube channel, and I will have that up post-haste as soon as it comes out, and we'll have even more things to salivate over when we get to see it. Oh man, so excited. And I'm so happy that I can say Eiyuden Chronicle as it is supposed to be said, and not however I was butchering it before now. We'll do a couple more quicker stories and take a quick time out. Not a whole lot to read into this one, but it is kind of news, as they found out just on the Australian ratings board there is now a classification for Tales of Arise from Bandai Namco. We've heard this a couple different countries now, and I dare say we'll get some more of them moving forward. I'm not going to read anything more into that, as it's just something that has to happen. We already know it's not coming out for at least probably, I'd say 6 months is the earliest we could really hope for this one. So just a part of the process, and it's always good to hear it, you know, kind of pop up that it's still a thing. Publisher NIS America and developer Yummy Yummy Tummy have released a new trailer for Fallen Legion Reverence, introducing the game's cast of characters. I think this is right under about 2 minutes long. This game's got a really unique art style. I kind of dig it. It's not a typical JRPG by any stretch, but it does look pretty cool. Here is the about. In a world covered with miasma, the floating castle is the last refuge for mankind. Here are the key features. Weavers of fate influence the events within the castle through your dialogue choices and determine who lives or dies with every decision you make. There are unearthly warriors. As Rowena, test your reflexes and tactical prowess with intense real-time battles as you command a squad of legendary exemplars to decimate your foes. And there is forbidden knowledge as Lucian craft potions and other useful items with alchemic recipes and use stealth tactics to navigate the castle and discover its secrets. Fallen Legion's Reverence is due out for PlayStation 4 and Switch sometime in 2021. A little bit sooner than that is going to be Tears of Avia. It will launch digitally for Xbox One and PC via Steam on September the 24th. Publisher P-Cube and developer equally awesome name Cuckoo Squeaky announced. Here is their overview of the game via the website. Build a party of charismatic allies and utilize a vast skill tree system to combine classes and skills in a limitless number of ways. Lead your party across Asteria in search of the lost city of Avalon, engaging in thrilling turn-based battles in this unique tactical experience. Some of the key features include the ability to customize your party to your own playstyles. The game richly rewards buildcraft. Carefully combine rangers, warriors, mages, brawlers, and priest classes to create a party suited to your own tactical strengths. There's an expansive skill tree system. Customize and combine skills and discover the limitless ways in which they chain and react with one another with profound consequences. There is a dynamic storyline. The choices you make within your party shape the way the story unfolds and affects the dynamic of your party. Side missions are triggered by discussions between different characters. I kind of like that idea. Not only getting to know your party a little bit better, but that's going to trigger some side quest action rather than, hey, go and talk to this random looking NPC type of person in a back alley some way. I kind of like that. There are weapons-based skills. The hundreds of in-game skills can be derived both from the class and the weapons you equipped each character with to add a new layer to strategy. You can explore a vast and immersive world, traverse the beautiful and varied regions of Asteria in search of that forgotten city and a lost love hundreds of years previously. They say nothing is black and white. There are no right or wrong actions, but every action has consequences that shape the way your journey unfolds. There was a brand new 8-minute gameplay video, so if you're curious about this one, what better way to find out than seeing about 8 minutes of gameplay? I've got that over on the YouTube channel. It's interesting for sure. I kind of like the way it looks, but it's hard not to, at least in the characters kind of around town as you're exploring, they look an awful lot like Sims characters. And there's like a bunch of them in these towns. More than you would typically expect to see in a town. You know, a lot of the JRPGs and stuff, it could be kind of sparsely populated. Like, is this really a town? There's like 3 people living here. It is kind of the opposite in this one, and yeah, when I see it, I immediately think that they look just like Sims characters. I don't know. They don't move; they just kind of stay there. So yeah, but it does look pretty interesting. The battle system looks really cool. We'll keep an eye on this one as it gets closer to that September 24th release date for Xbox One and PC. Still no word if this one's coming to PlayStation 4 or Switch. Maybe somewhere's down the line, but a little odd. We'll see if that one ends up changing or not. Let's take a quick break here on the podcast. We'll be back with the second half. A few more stories to cover, as well as a listener review for Fairy Tail coming up. The JRPG Report, episode 128. Alright friends, welcome back to the podcast. Don't forget, give us a like on Facebook, follow on Twitter, and like and subscribe our videos. Like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube, all under JRPG Reports. If you like what you're listening to or what you see over on YouTube, you can choose to give us some listener or viewer support. We do that at the bottom of this podcast. You can just scroll on down. There'll be a link to sponsor us on Anchor, as well as we do Patreon as well if you choose to do that over there. That'd be super awesome. I would really appreciate it if you choose to do that. Back to the news. Pre-registration for the Western release of Idala Phantasy Star Saga is now available for iOS via the App Store and Android on Google Play. Voltron Games will publish the mobile Phantasy Star game worldwide, with the exception of Europe, Japan, South Korea, and Vietnam. According to the App Store, Idala Phantasy Star Saga is planned for release on September the 17th. This one came out back in November of 2018 in Japan. Here's a short overview of it. The classic RPG series Phantasy Star finally comes to mobile. Experience thrilling turn-based battles with two-party mode, world-class artwork, and an unforgettable musical score. And an epic fantasy through a fully voiced story campaign. Save the land of Vandor from the dark threat of Dark Falls. Here are some of the key features of that classic battle system. Return to the roots of the series through a command-style series system of battle. Release your ultimate skill, Elemental Blast, to defeat your enemies by consuming elemental values. A two-party mode. You can deploy and switch between two party modes, Law and Chaos, during battles. Switching parties unleashes an all-out attack called Reverse Rush, so take your chances and change the tides of battle. There is Fate Divergence. Face the character's fate and choose the ultimate upgrade for each, changing the conclusion of the character's story. Not only will it change the character's appearance, but also their skills and elemental blast as well. There are Idola battles. Join forces with friends and other players to defeat the Idola. You can become an amazing Idola yourself and battle other adventurers. There are various types of Idola available within the game. There's also the player PvP arena. 2 teams enter, 1 leaves. Battle with the other teams to become the ace of the arena. The game is free to play. Items are available for purchase within the game, of course, and a network connection is required to play. This kind of sounds like, heading back to the roots of Phantasy Star, like what was back on the Genesis and whatnot, but maintaining kind of that look of current. Actually, I wouldn't say it looks like Phantasy Star. I would say it looks more like kind of a cross between like Star Ocean and Phantasy Star, just based off the initial character concepts that I've seen. I guess just have to wait and see. I'm intrigued by this one, so I may actually dabble into it and see what it's like. Don't know. I know probably more than a few of you are like, man, all these mobile games. I don't. Why are we talking about them? Well, unfortunately, it is a reality of the current landscape. It isn't an easy way. Everybody's got a usually a decently powerful enough phone in their pocket, and they can play games. So, and then there's some games like the one I just talked about, or the mobile strategy RPG Dragon Quest Tact. This one came out last month in Japan, and there's actually a chance it may make its way over here. It was recently trademarked in the US back on July 14th. Europe got a trademark on July 7th. Square Enix has already trademarked it in Australia back in March, and it was also in the United Kingdom as well as Canada. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen, but it does at least open the possibility that it could. So if you've kind of checked this one out, this is that strategy RPG where it actually pits the monsters of the Dragon Quest series against one another in kind of a big arena type grid-based battle. It looks interesting. It's probably not something that I would get into, but it's a mobile game, so I think it's kind of a good thing when these things do finally make their way west if they're of quality. If it's something like Dragon Quest of the Stars and it's I don't really care. We talked about a few weeks ago, I believe it was the talking about Persona 5, the animation coming to Blu-ray for a week's worth of your salary. If you want to watch it a little bit cheaper, you can do that if you've got Funimation. They will be showing this anime. Actually, you could be watching it right now, as it came out in North America yesterday, August the 18th. It does say, I believe, you can have either the option of doing dubbed or subbed, whatever you want to have. If you choose to do that, that's up to you. Yeah, of course, it's not coming out on Blu-ray until September 29th, so if you want to go ahead and do that, you can. That's an interesting way to watch all those Persona 5 animation titles. Final Fantasy XIV recently got its update patch 5.3, but starting today, August the 19th, it will see the return of the Yokai Watch collaboration event. This will feature 4 new yokai minions and weapons in its return. The Yokai Watch collaboration event first appeared back in 2016, returned for a rerun in 2017, but it's taken the past 3 years off. But it is back and going along with other events that pop up from time to time. If you're interested in seeing all the different events that are going on with it, you can check out the story that I linked over on our Facebook and or Twitter pages. It will end with the release of patch 5.4. Don't have an official note when that is, but when that is, it's done. Final Fantasy XIV is available for PlayStation 4 and PC. As we've mentioned before, there is that free version of the game on PS4. I'm not sure if this would be included in that, but I kind of don't see why it necessarily would not. Massively multiplayer online RPG Bless Unleashed is coming to PlayStation 4. Publishers Bandai Namco and NeoWiz and developer Round 8 Studio announced. A closed beta test for the PlayStation 4 version will run tomorrow, August the 20th through the 24th. Interested users can register to participate here, which would be the link that is on this article. You can check that out again on Facebook or Twitter. This game first launched back on Xbox One in March and is coming to PC via Steam in early 2021. Here are some of the abouts and key features. You can explore a massive and lively world with your friends, or go it alone in an epic adventure. From the weapons you wield to the skills you learn, take full control of your character's actions and development. Every choice you make in the world of Bless will shape your destiny. Start unfolding your story now. Here are the key features. An enormous open-world adventure full of quests featuring original storylines that unfold before your eyes. It's an action-packed MMORPG full of formidable monsters. You can get blessed to develop and diversify your classes, countless items, and collectibles. And it's an MMORPG that lets you create your own story while playing with others. There was the announcement trailer that kind of got me interested in at least looking at this title. Looks kind of cool. The idea that I could play this type of game alone would be more appealing to someone like myself, but these type of games are popular for a reason. So if you want to check that out, you can do so. There was a kind of a blurb that came out from the latest issue of Famitsu magazine, and they had an interview with Yasuyuki Yamaja. He is the head, in case you haven't heard of that name before, he is the head of the Secretariat of the Computer Entertainment Suppliers Association. They are the one who organize the annual Tokyo Game Show. So that was a very long way of saying who that person was. And so, of course, this is going to be an online-only event this year, running from September 23rd, until the 27th. And so they kind of talked about what some of those main changes are going to be. And here's what he said, and I'll let you kind of decide what exactly that means. The main content is the organizer's program. We will deliver the latest information from each exhibitor with a program format. Stage events, originally held on public days in the past years, as well as events from the Maker Company booths, will be turned into a program style that will be played sequentially on the main channel. We'll make adjustments so the audience can watch programs in order without having to worry about being unable to watch a stream due to the clashing schedules like before. That's a good thing. We plan to have 3 official channels. One for programs from exhibitors, one for the indie event Sense of Wonder Night and the Japan Game Awards, and one for esports and their tournaments. Companies can also display their own titles as exhibitors on the special site without having to wait for the live streams. And finally, he says, I sincerely hope we can hold the real event next year. They did say that the 23rd is reserved for online business matching. So the main event streams will begin on September the 24th. In the JRPG world, we always greatly look forward to TGS each and every year. I don't know if it's going to hold the same weight this year. I would have to assume not. But with it also being all digital, that means we're just going to get a bunch more trailers and hopefully gameplays and maybe some good announcements. I mean, we do have some new hardware coming out, so it would be nice to at least hear, hey, Dragon Quest 12 is in development for PlayStation 5. We know you guys are greatly looking forward to it. Just know that we are hard at work with this new hardware, and it is indeed in development. That's, I'd be happy with that. I certainly wouldn't expect a trailer or anything. Maybe, put an extra Roman numeral up there and give us a new logo. That can't be that difficult. I don't need a subtitle just yet. But I don't think we're going to get a ton, but maybe we'll be surprised, and that could be kind of nice as well. All right, friends, we've reached the end of the podcast, and so I would like to roll out our first listener review from our buddy Jake, longtime listener of the podcast, and we kind of have a competition amongst each other that who is more excited about Cold Steel 4, and it's pretty neck and neck on most weeks, but I'm going to read to you his review for Fairy Tail. It is what it is. I'm not going to copy and chop and paste it up. It's his words, and that's kind of what I want to do for you guys. It could be short. It could be, let's see, he's got a good little 5-paragraph essay, so it would be good for a college credit, I'm sure. You could turn in a paragraph. It doesn't really matter to me. Just if you've played a recent game and then somebody's not already reviewed it, feel free to chime in. Or I guess if somebody puts out a game, review that they liked, if you've got an opposite opinion and you want to kind of counter that, I'm fine with that too. But I just kind of want to make this a part of the program. If you guys are interested and want to support it, it's on you. I'll decide if we would do it moving forward or not. But so let's get into his review. So if you don't want to hear this, I really don't think there'd be any spoilers in it. It's going to be in depth, but I don't think it would ruin it. But it's up to you if you want to listen or not. Here is his review. I really enjoyed the game overall, and there are a few areas to go over. First is the story. The story definitely caters to fans of the anime. Full disclosure, I'd never even heard of the anime before this game. If you are a fan of the anime and you like JRPGs, you will love, in capital letters, this game. However, I did not personally feel like coming in with no background knowledge prevented me from enjoying the story. You just need to be aware that there was more to the story than what you see in the game. As long as you can accept that, you should be fine. A good comparison would be the Dragon Ball Z anime, of which people are probably more familiar. There are multiple story arcs within that long-running series, and the Fairy Tail anime is the same way. I would highly recommend reading the in-game encyclopedia as soon as you can to fill yourself in on some of the background lore. It doesn't take very long to read. You might read it multiple times during your playthrough. It will make it more and more sense each time you read it. This will give you an idea of what happened leading up to the start of the game. During the game, there are 2 story arcs with gaps in between, plus an epilogue, which I believe is the 3rd story arc, but I'm just starting that now. As developers picked a good story arc to start the game at because it makes sense from a gameplay progression standpoint, but there is definitely a rich history that has already happened and is not fully explained. So you need to fully understand that these characters already know each other and that things have happened to them to shape their stories in the game. And while I did enjoy the story, the game was not very long. I clocked in at north of 30 hours for the main game, and I dragged my feet a bit. So I do feel like it could have benefited from filling in a little bit more detail in some areas. There was plenty of detail in the main cast, but some of the villains just seemed to kind of pop up out of nowhere. Again, you had to accept that there is more story than they are telling you, but a little more background would have been beneficial. When it comes to the main cast, I really like them. They did a good job of bringing out a bunch of different personalities, and I really liked just about all of them. The interactions between characters really made you feel like there's a group of people who have a rich history, both on their own and with each other. And you can see their affections and rivalries very clearly. There's also a very large cast of characters to play with, something the fans of the anime in particular will fully enjoy. However, newcomers will find this refreshing, as most games consist of building up your guild by doing various versions of fetch and or kill quests. The large cast vastly reduces the redundancy you might otherwise feel, especially if you take your time to complete all the side quests as they become available. Once the first story arc is complete, you can recruit 5 new characters at the beginning of the second arc, which gives you a fresh new set of people to try out if you want to. Fortunately, characters not in your party still gain 50% experience, which can be increased by improving your guild, so nobody ever falls too far behind. When it comes to character progression and customization, there's not too much of it. You just equip various items, called Lacrima, and these increase various stats. And as you gain new abilities or improve existing ones by leveling up. However, this is all very well paced throughout the story, so it never felt like it was getting stale to me. There's also a separate rank level that can be increased for each character, and you earn points by doing that by building up your guild and doing quests. Next up is gameplay. I found the battles to be quite fun, even though they were pretty much all the same. They are quick once you get the hang of the way it works, and I believe it can be made faster by turning off attack animations, though I have never felt the need to do this. Since you have a large roster of characters, each with quite a few different abilities, I never felt bored with it, though it may also be held by the fact that this game does not take too long to complete. The music and Japanese audio were fun to listen to as well, which also made playing through the game very enjoyable. Visually, this game had a Persona-style feel to it, so if you like that, then this may be right up your alley too. Finally, onto the DLC, which is my major gripe with the game. Now, I need to clarify I played this game upon release, so my major issue with the DLC will not be a problem for anyone who plays this game later on. The DLC looks really, really good. There are 4 new playable characters, an extra dungeon, and some extra hard level quests. Unfortunately, the DLC as released is so spaced out that I'll be done with this game by the time it releases. Again, not a problem for anyone who plays the game later, but I feel like I'm going to miss out on some really cool content that I may have considered purchasing had it been released sooner. The DLC is also very expensive, so I do not feel I'll be getting my money's worth by buying it later, after completing the game and not being able to play with the new characters through the main story. Since I won't be doing another playthrough of this game anytime soon, he says in parentheses, Cold Steel 3 play and Cold Steel 4 release are the next on my to-do list. I told you, it's a competition between us who's the bigger fan. I don't think I'll be picking up the DLC once it finally drops. There are a bunch of costumes you can buy too, and some do look pretty cool, but they're expensive as well. In conclusion, he says, from the research I have done, it's an easy platinum for PS4 trophy hunters, but I have the Switch version. If you think $60 is a bit much for a short game, you may be right, and may want to wait for some kind of sale. But based on the price of the DLC, you may be waiting a while. Overall, though, I really enjoyed the game. It was fun, entertaining, humorous, and charming. For any fan of our genre, I highly recommend picking this one up and giving it a go, even if it has to sit in the backlog for a while. All right, Jake, awesome job there. That's pretty much exactly what I was looking forward to. A little more in-depth look at the game. We can preview things all day long, but really having that hands-on with the game is what's telling. So if you liked what you heard from Jake and you want to go out there and pick it up, it is available right now. And I did notice those DLCs were pretty pricey, and like you said, they didn't release those in the most timely fashion. So a short game you could already have beat, and you wouldn't be able to use them on your main playthrough. So yeah, if you want to listen to that again, you're more welcome to see if the game is for you or not. I do plan to pick up Fairy Tail at some point in time, but I kind of agree with one of his last points that it may be worth catching on sale here at some point in time. Not sure when that would be, but it's not going to be anywhere right now. As I kind of got, I'm right in the middle of Trails in the Sky right now, and Cold Steel right on the horizon. That's going to do it for episode 128. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you've got a listener review you want to send my way, I'd be happy to put it in our weekly podcast. My name is James Fisher. That's going to do it for today's podcast. We'll be back on Sunday with the soundtrack for Suikoden 5. I dug it up the other day, so that's going to be our Sunday special this week. We'll be back next Wednesday with an all-new podcast full of all the stories around the JRPG world. Thank you so much. We'll catch you guys next time. But before we go, get back out there and level up.